was like it had Spanish moss hanging from it and stuff. I mean, it looked like it was alive with algae and stuff. It's been neglected for a long time, but I think it's in good shape. After looking in the window, I could see inside and see the floors and the helm and everything, and it was beautiful on the inside. Nobody had been there for a long time. It looked like for sale sign in the window. The number was no good. But from what I heard, you know, whoever the owner was, everybody tried to buy this boat before, and the owner wasn't gonna sell it. Looking at another boat, seeing this, you like this one, and I thought, man, I didn't know what kind of boat it was or anything. Just knew it was a wooden hull boat, and it had been sitting a long time, and that in itself was just, you know, shied me away from it. We had a closer look at it, and then I actually seen what it was. Man, the more I looked into it, the more I was just amazed that a boat like that was sitting here, nobody doing anything with it, you know. I mean, and I started looking at it a little bit different light, and still couldn't get anybody on the horn. Number was no good anymore, and everybody I talked to about it said this old man owns it, won't sell it, he ain't gonna sell it. Everybody out here's trying to buy it. Good luck. Finally got a hold of a guy at the office that told me that, you know, he said the guy ain't gonna sell it, but I give you his number just because it's way behind and slip lease and everything, so I'll give you his number. Waited, man, I hated it. I was nervous to even call. Waited a week or so, and he says, you know, yeah, I'll sell it. He said, I think it's time, you know, you really like what it is. He said, I really like somebody to have it that I thought could do something with it, and all this, you know. And he wanted so much for it. Plus, he said it was behind the slip lease and wanted me to pay about half of what was owed on the slip lease. And from what he told me he wanted for it and what I thought was owed on the slip lease, you know, I was hands down, yeah, I want it. And after looking at it a little bit more and seeing how much water was in the bilge, I called the guy back and says, you know, how long has it been since you've been out here and looked at this boat? And it'd been a while, and I told him, and he's like, oh God, you know. And he said, I'll tell you what, you know, I'll sell it to you for this much. And knocked about 1,500, 2,500 off what he initially had told me he wanted for it. And I found out how much it was owed on a slip and talked to him about that. Like he didn't even have no idea it was that far behind, you know, that much money. And he said, I'll tell you what, he's like, you know, if you can get me square with the marina, I'll give you the boat. You know, I thought, and just knowing what it was by that point, I'd done looked into it enough that with what I was going to have in it and what I thought it would take to bring it, you know, back up a little bit. Gorgeous wood. I mean, it was built like a tank, and it's built out of some wood that you know, a person couldn't afford to build a boat out of today. It cost a fortune, you know, if you could even get it. Go shoot it. Looked kind of spooky sitting there, man. It had a half-inch of dust on it. Like I said, it looked like moss hanging from it. Walking around the outside of it, you know, leaves piled up in the, you know, but at least it was covered. It was in a covered dock, but the part of it wasn't covered where the rain could get to it. You know, you can tell it had been raining in it, and, you know, been damaging it for a good long time. But, you know, solid company in the beginning anyway, for what I'm looking for anyway. You're gonna have a wood boat. Yeah, this is where it's at, and just everything about this boat is, you know, even if you could afford to have a bigger one, this is a great size. Everything's just perfect on this boat. Just everywhere you look, you know, it's a nice boat. An American that was, he was like the, I don't know, I'm not sure if it was a manager or he was running a soda pop factory in Hong Kong and had two sons that he put in charge. There's a big empty lot right there on the water that he said, their parking lot, that he wanted his sons to start a boat building, boatyard right there at their this empty parking lot of the soda pop factory. And they made some of the most solid, you know, it's a name known all around the world. There's, you know, people still in love with the name today, but the wood boats like this was only made up till this size anyway, till about 73, but some of the bigger ones were made in Hong Kong for a little bit longer, and they had the same boatyard that they started. That guy that left the comments on it, his dad was in charge of that yard there at Hong Kong, and from what I heard about him, read about him, you know, was just real stickler for detail, and that every one of these things that was put in the water was, you know, went over with a fine-tooth comb, and then some. Very interesting story about the company. You know, these guys were Americans living in Hong Kong in the 50s. Yeah, interesting story. Look into it. A lot of cleaning, a lot of scraping, a lot of assessing what's going on with it. Really looking at the wood and everywhere, what I could see while it's still in the water. And from everything I can see, it still looks solid. There's some, I ripped out all this Modi headliner that was 58 years old. It had some 58-year-old mold on it. It come from Hong Kong. So all that's gone now. We need to wipe it down real good in there behind that. Get a coat of primer on that original ceiling in there. Get it painted. It'll be nice and clean. I'm gonna try to keep it above water.